Hello everybody and welcome to the next game of the DelotA Dota 2 Amateur Tournament. I'm Just Delicious and with me as always is Vegrakunter. Today we have Aurum Stella versus Jambo.
Hello and welcome again to this game of Aurum Stella versus Jambo. Bit of a shock to come so soon. It is actually a tournament match, isn't it?
Yes it is, it's a winner's bracket game.
Okay, and I'm just going to remind you to turn on your open mic.
Oh yes, good call, good call.
Sorry to any listeners in Dota 2 if you're already there and you're quite
There we go.
kind of listener. There we go, everything is fine. Last person is loading in and we're about to see the whole banning station start.
Yes, excellent. Well, yeah, we've seen both these teams play before, and from what we've seen, they both do look really good. So it's gonna be equal, if not a fantastic match. Hopefully a fantastic match. But well, we've had some pretty good matches recently. So for this to stand up to them, it'd have to take something special.
Yeah, it really will. Unless we can see Jambo already. We've seen how powerful Phantom Lancer can be because pretty much in every game where he's picked, he completely destroys. It's very hard to shut down, and the chances of seeing him fail are slim to almost none. So we're still at Jambo. Obviously, don't want to have him, and we're more famous for seeing Jambo team banning heroes like this that they don't really want to play against to make sure they can get heroes like Batrider or Magnus, and we're probably going to see one of these slip through the pool now.
Well, yeah, they do have first pick, so it makes sense that they would save one of the really good heroes when it comes around to them, and then they get their pick of whoever they want. But I do expect them maybe to ban out a Magnus, and then Aurum Stella can give them the choice of Nyx or a Batrider, and then they can pick up the other one. Oh, the Batrider's going to go. So Magnus and Nyx Assassin are the two first bans still left in the pool with Darkseer, so it really does depend on what Aurum Stella want to give them. They're definitely going to give them one.
Well, absolutely. No matter what happens, one team is going to be able to pick up the one, and one team will be able to pick up the other. And let's not forget that if Keeper of the Light and Shadow Demon aren't banned, then those are the two best supports. It's kind of hard to decide which one is the better of the two out of there. And straight after that, you've got teams are going to be fighting for the more defensive support, Disruptor, and then it's pretty much anyone's game. Due to this version being so particular in what heroes are actually best for what they can do. But Aurum Stella are actually taking their time about this. Obviously, there are the three heroes they are most likely to get rid of, and it probably is a bit of a challenge for them because when you have an Nyx Assassin about, you really cannot play a Keeper of the Light, and if that Jambo get Nyx, then they're definitely going to go for that. We've not seen a single game where a Keeper of the Light has been able to go up for a Nyx Assassin and win. So if they do choose to ban out the Undying or the Darkseer and pick up Keeper of the Light after Jambo got the first pick, they actually ban out Rubik.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they could also ban out Rubik with three really powerful heroes left in the pool, giving Jambo the pick of one of them, and then they can pick up the other two. So banning the Rubik does make a lot of sense. Jambo go with Darkseer, so Magnus is still there, Kotl is still there, Nyx Assassin is still there. So all these heroes can be picked up by Aurum Stella, and it's really their choice. But I would definitely expect them to maybe go for a Magnus and then a Nyx Assassin. That does look on the cards right now.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
And I have to say, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. It's between Nyx Assassin and Undying for this last pick. But JD, why do you think they chose Darkseer instead of the extremely popular and ridiculously powerful Magnus?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. They obviously just like playing that Darkseer more. They'd rather have their offlane locked out, and Darkseer can really stand up against anyone in their offlane. So, well, we've seen him do bad against Clinxes in the past, but I can't imagine Aurum Stella are going to pick up Clinx. Aurum Stella just do pick up the Magnus and the Nyx Assassin, so the two really strong heroes left in the pool. But Jambo, I think they just wanted to. They've obviously got a plan against these heroes. They know what they want to do, and they obviously want to. They'd rather get their offlane sorted. They feel that Darkseer is more of a threat than the Magnus and the Nyx Assassin are.
Absolutely, these guys are fantastic players, and we've seen their picking stage being really strong, so they wouldn't have just let that through for no reason. And now they've just kind of got the pick of exactly what they want. Keeper of the Light and Shadow Demon actually still being up for grabs, so maybe Jambo were just trying to get those out of the way because they'd rather have the Darkseer and then Keeper of the Light and Shadow Demon. But as I was saying, in DelotA statistics for you, we've never seen a single game where Keeper goes against Nyx Assassin and wins. But Jambo are a fantastic team, and picking up Lifestealer as well. We've seen how powerful Lifestealer is. We actually saw Team Infused, a professional team that people compete to actually play against, using a lifesteal with a strange build of phase boots and a Orchid Malevolence to completely dominate in the Battle.net of winners of
Yeah.
the January tournament.
Well, and a blink dagger as well. You can't forget about that. But yeah, that lifesteal was really, really good in that game, and he really did do very, very well. I think that was one of the game that Amber actually ended up winning. But the lifestealer was very, very well played, and that build as an initiator kind of lifestealer, it seemed to work very, very well. I mean, it seemed to do its job. They knew what they were doing.
Well, it was the closest game we'd ever seen, 75 minutes long, and each
Yeah.
base was on, 200 HP by the end, so really, really close. This lifestealer gave the ability to completely, basically shut down this strongest carry in the game at the moment, Phantom Lancer, so it really is useful, and even building him properly, think of the damage that this guy can do. The Rage is practically a free BKB. Open Wounds means the entire team can get lifesteal from it, which means any nuke that goes his way, Keeper of the Light can get his Illuminate off. He heals himself 500 for 500 health while Open Wounds is up, and that is something that is not to be sniffed at.
No, certainly not. And Enigma being picked up by Aurum Stella. So look at the team fight they've gone for: Magnus and Enigma with a Nyx Assassin. This is going to be extremely interesting, and they've got a lot of ultis that go through that lifestealer Rage and go through BKB. So that's a really interesting pickup. We'll have to see how that works out. I don't know what they're probably going to do with him. They might just put him on the off lane maybe to go up against Darkseer, because he's okay against Darkseer. So that's probably what's going to happen. I would expect. I can't imagine they'll jungle him.
Well, we expect to see Darkseer on the short lane for Jambo, and then Keeper of the Light working with Lifestealer, and Jambo need to pick up the mid and one more support for the long lane as they're going to go for a try. But obviously, Aurum Stella have the Magnus, so that's going to be one of the strongest mids in the game with Batrider out. It's going to be a bit of a challenge for Jambo to try and pick someone that successful against him.
Yeah, and we see Jambo just banning out a lot of the other top tier kind of initiating team fight heroes. To face as Void as the carry is a really nice ban, and so is the Tidehunter as well, because we all know what Tidehunter can do, and Tidehunter is obviously extremely strong in team fights. Aurum Stella just banning out the Queen of Pain, so they want to get rid of that mid to come up against Magnus, and they're also getting rid of the Disruptor, so they also feel that that Jambo kind of want to maybe run this on a sort of a defensive tri lane with that Disruptor really helping them out there.
Well, I still have to point out that Shadow Demon, the strongest support in the game, competed with Keeper of the Light, is still around. And if Aurum Stella don't ban it out in the next pick, or if Jambo don't for some strange reason, then Jambo will be able to pick that up. And Lifestealer, Keeper, and Shadow Demon as a late tri-lane is ridiculously powerful. So Aurum Stella, if they really know their stuff, they want to ban out that Shadow Demon. Because if Jambo pick it up, it will be hell, and they will not be running an aggressive tri-lane. They will be running the most offensive tri-lane you can imagine. So Jambo actually ban out Luna, which is a really, really good call, because at the moment the only real guaranteed support we have for Aurum Stella's tri-lane is a Nyx Assassin. So seeing that Luna really banning out is so powerful, with Phantom Lancer gone as well. You're getting rid of the strongest heroes. The only hero left that could possibly compete is Sven, and Lifestealer is a great guy to go against Sven.
Yeah, the Luna ban is pretty good. Yeah, she's a really good carry at the moment, really, because she kind of affects all parts of the game. So it makes a lot of sense that they would ban her out. Last ban, just waiting for Aurum Stella, but they've banned out Disruptor, so I really do expect them to ban out Shadow Demon. I mean, he's the best support left in the pool, and they've banned out 3 tri-lane support heroes so far, so I would be very surprised if they didn't ban out another one at least and get rid of that. But they've gone for Jakiro instead, so another tri-lane hero goes, but they'd rather get rid of the Jakiro than the Shadow Demon. If Jambo want to pick up Shadow Demon, he's there.
Well, I expect to see him now, but the Jakiro actually, they're still thinking that they're going to go for this defensive lane, and Lifestealer can be built in the most offensive styles, so Aurum Stella really misjudging that in that kind of sense, or maybe they just think that they can't handle a defensive kind of game. Maybe they want to go offensive and want to force Jambo into an offensive role because they decided they're going to get the better tri-lane. But let's face it, the only real carry left for them to pick is Sven. They could go for a crazy pick, or they can go for that Sven in the meta. And if they don't, well, it'd be fantastic to see exactly what they go for.
Yeah, well, Gyrocopter is still in the pool if they wanted to pick up
Of
Gyrocopter as
course.
a carry. Yeah, and we can't forget Gyrocopter. He's very fun, and he's obviously very good. So there are still a few carry options left if they really wanted to to try and lock out a carry in the next pick, but I can't imagine they would. I mean, Jambo already have their carry. There's no picks left. They're just going to be looking to try and pick up a really good support hero next before Jambo lock them both out.
Yeah, absolutely. Shadow Demon, obviously, the most likely one to pick here, but Jambo are taking their time. If they were going to pick up the Shadow Demon, you'd assume they'd pick him up a little bit faster, but we've got so much potential here for Aurum Stella. There's, once the Kiro's gone, there's still a Lena to be chosen around. We could see an ultra-aggressive lane with a Bane, which might work nicely with Enigma. If he misses something in that ultimate, then Bane's ultimate can quickly clear up the other one, and actually his channel will end up uninterrupted because Enigma's ult manages to keep everyone else out of the way for that duration. But seems a bit unlikely. They actually go for the Earthshaker, who's really come back in terms of popularity recently. So Shadow Demon all up for Aurum Stella if they want it.
Yeah, well, Earthshaker works particularly well with Keeper of the Light. I mean, it can lock heroes into a certain position or force them to go all the way around, in which case the Illuminate will almost certainly hit. But Shadow Demon has been passed back again, so if Aurum Stella really wants Shadow Demon, they can pick him up. I mean, he's definitely the best support hero left in the pool. There's absolutely no... I can't believe he's made it all the way here, to be honest, without actually being picked up, especially by Jambo. I mean, he would work so well for them, but they obviously prefer to play the Earthshaker, and they'd rather have that Fissure to give them a little more security than the Shadow Demon provides.
Well, I guess with this lane, Jambo now have the choice of playing it like they want. Aurum Stella picking up their carry now for the trial, so that's the Chaos Knight. Surprisingly choosing to lock out their mid hero, their mid carry, and not the support, but I guess they didn't want... They're just scared about Jambo getting that Chaos Knight, or maybe just decided the Chaos Knight needed to be picked up faster, as if they've got one more support hero left.
Yeah, and well, Jambo really need a mid now. They've got no one in mid. They need to think of what they're gonna do against Magnus. As soon as they have that pick, Aurum Stella can once again just go straight ahead and pick up the Shadow Demon, because I'd be very surprised if Jambo picked him up now. No, they go for Sand King, so there's a little bit of an anti-team fight for them. They've gone for Sand King, probably just for his how good he is with Darkseer, and that's going to be very interesting to see how they actually lane this.
Well, now that posed a real spanner in the works. JD, normally with the Sand King, if you didn't count Darkseer, anyone like that, would you expect to see him go on the offlane, or would you expect to see him more focused on the tri?
We definitely expect him to be on the tri-lane. He's almost certainly a tri-lane hero, but they can't put Keeper on the Light on the off-lane, run Sand King, Earthshaker and Lifestealer, because triple melee? That doesn't... Oh, Clinks gets picked up by Aurum Stella instead, so they are going to be running that safe lane Enigma, and the Clinks will be going all the way onto the off lane by himself, and it'll be interesting to see who he's up against. I really can't see, unless they decide to put Sand King mid. That's another option they do have. He's okay against Magnus. They're both melee, and he does have an escape. So that would be okay. Now I'm just going to run through the Radiant, and then like normal we'll flick over to Vague, and Vague will be handling the Dire. So Adal will be on the Clinks. We see Pixel taking up the Nyx Assassin. We see, I can't read that name, Envy God will be taking up the Chaos Knight. I'm just going to call him that. Uprising will be on the Enigma, and we see Raid Max going mid with the Magnus.
Meanwhile, if we go up to the Dire, we have Coco as always on the hard carry shot Lifestealer. We have Grobian on Earthshaker, Highlight on Darkseer, Harry on Sand King, and finally Sheep of Doom as Keeper of the Light.
Yep, and now we can see how this is going to work out laning wise, and the Sand King is going mid, so they are going to be doing it as the way I expected them to, with that Sand King in mid, and it's going to be interesting to see how Sand King does against Magnus actually, because I've never seen anything like this before, but yeah, it could work out well if they play it right.
Well, with Enigma as the support, I suppose it does work. He does have that Malefice, which is a really fantastic use. Demonic Conversion can help push back a lane if he just wants to even spec 1 point into it. And obviously Midnight Pulse can completely control a team fight if Chaos Knight and Nyx Assassin manage to continually get stuns off, with Malefice being able to keep them there as well. But against a Darkseer with Surge, if it's going to be a tri-lane versus an off-lane, it seems extremely unlikely.
The battle begins.
Yeah, well, Highlights just put his first into Surge just to be able to get away from this gank that looked like it was going to be coming. But yeah, Uprising is definitely going to be playing on the tri-lane and not jungling, which seems like a little bit of a waste, seeing that it's just seeing that it's a 2v1 versus a Darkseer. They're not going to be able to kill the Darkseer, I wouldn't have thought. So maybe Uprising waiting and getting that demonic conversion at level 1 may have been a little bit better. We are going to see a pause come out. So A little bit of lag maybe for Adal, or maybe he needs to go somewhere and do something. I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who gets the better of the off lanes, seeing that they're both against tri lanes now. But this tri lane from JAMBO is really, really strong.
Well, I think Aurum Stella were really hoping to put that Clinks against the Darkseer, because as we were saying while it was all being picked up, Clinks is absolutely fantastic, absolutely got the best chance against the Darkseer. But, you know, he should do a reasonably nice time against this. The Fisher could actually alienate him if he gets caught out of position, which is inevitable, but maybe if he plays a bit defensively, it'll all be okay.
Yeah, I think the thing that Harry's got to watch out for in mid is definitely going to be this Magnus nuke with his shockwave. It's going to be able to do so much damage to Harry continually, and it's a much more effective nuke than the Burrow strike. So, yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a problem for Harry, but it's not going to be the end of the world. He should be able to still do something, although he's really, really not doing particularly well right now.
Well, I think they were aiming. JAMBO were hoping that Caustic Finale would be able to attack the Magnus a little bit, so it was a bit of a strange pickup. And to be fair, they're very, very early into the first game. It's not even a minute, and of course he is managing to hold face this early on, although this is no way to actually tell. But Caustic Finale may be enough. When he puts a point into it, we're going to start seeing Magnus take some damage. And although he's a tanky hero, he's not actually that much tankier than Sand King. So if that Caustic Finale keeps getting spec'd into, maybe Magnus will actually have a hard time.
Yeah, perhaps, but you've got to feel like Shockwave is going to really win the lane for Raid Max. I mean, he's going to have his bottle almost immediately, and it's just going to be really difficult. It's just going to be really difficult for Harry. He's really got to get his leveling right. But I think the reason they've put him on this lane is not so that he can stop the Magnus, but just so that he can get levels. He doesn't need farm Sand King. He just needs to hit level 6, and then he can really, really affect a team fight massively. Especially when the whole enemy team is going to be crowded around in a small area with all their melee heroes, minus of course Clinks, and then he can just dive in on top of the Enigma and the Chaos Knight and really just cause havoc. And apparently he's getting 400 millisecond lag. That's very weird. Nobody.
It is, but
yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone else on his team is having any problems. I mean, no one else has called that they're having problems with it. Yeah, that's just very, very, very odd.
Well, if this continues, it's a real shame. I'm not exactly sure what we can do here, but if it is just a Dell, I'm afraid he is going to have to power through it if it's not all of Aurum Stella, which would of course give JAMBO a very unfair advantage, and would have to try and just reset this up on a different agreed upon server. But yeah, Aurum Stella, Adal really, really struggling, but you know, he is on the offlane. His latency just shouldn't have to be that much of a problem as long as it's defensive, although late game he really wants to sort that out. Maybe he'll need to disconnect and reconnect. I'm sure we can wait for him in that time. We have plenty to talk about here with the strange matchup of the Sand King versus Magnus. He has actually now spec'd into Caustic Finale, and I'm going to make a guess here. I may put myself a little bit on the line, but if Magnus comes close, it's at least going to hold Magnus back. If he comes close, maybe Sand King can actually take the lead.
Well, that's definitely what they're hoping.
No.
I don't think there's any other way you can really. Oh well, the Magnus. he's trying to spam Burrow Strike to do as much as possible and get as much farm as he can. It's probably not going to be a lot.
Well, at the moment he's actually 4 ahead of Magnus, but it's so early on you can't say anything yet. It's only about 10 minutes in that we can really call who's technically won that lane. But Harry isn't doing a bad job. He's got his bottle. He's got 2 Gauntlets of Strength, suggesting he's probably going to be picking up an urn as soon as he can. And that's exactly what you want to see from him. He knows that he's going to be under a lot of harass, but he's just going to be trying to deal with it as best as he possibly can.
Yeah, and once again we can see that well, the Clinks isn't doing well. He's only sitting on 2 and 0, which is not good at all. But I don't think the rest of Aurum Stella are really feeling the lag, because if you have a look at the last hits, I mean, Chaos Knight's not doing bad. He's sitting on 22 and 1. So he's the second most farmed hero in the game. 23 and 1 now. He's only just behind the Lifestealer, so he's not doing that bad.
No, they're really doing fine. I think that's just that has to just be Adele. But if we actually look, Magnus choosing to waste the Invis rune doesn't really seem that valuable. And actually, no, Magnus
Whoa.
skewered him into the tower. So Harry really playing it risky, but actually he should get away. Magnus has no mana, but he does have that bottle.
Yeah, and Harry had the regen rune. That's why he did that. And now he's channeling his ultimate. Is he going to be able to actually get raid max? It looks like he is.
It looks like he is.
Yes, he will draw first blood. Harry draws first blood in mid against a Magnus.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, as I was saying, you know, when you've got Caustic Finale, it's going to keep him away, or at least going to do some basic damage to him. And that Burrow Strike, being able to spam it is really, really useful to him. But of course, Sanking is most known and most terrifying for his ultimate. The second that appears, actually, I'm going to look at top for Adele has been completely caught out. Mix of Shaker and Keeper of the Light. Coco wasn't even needed, because Grobby and a Sheep of Doom just Fisher Enchant Totem for the extra mini stun, and Illuminate completely destroyed him.
Yeah, and that's that burst damage coming out. If you get caught out, you're gonna just die against this sort of lane because it's so strong. And Magnus still isn't level 6, and Sanking now level 7. So Harry really did see the opportunity to try and take a win, while Magnus didn't have his reverse polarity up, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, it really did. But these tri-lanes, they aren't that far apart in terms of anything. Coke obviously didn't get that kill, so the only advantage there goes to Keeper of the Light. Of course, he does have free farm. He's actually gone for a Hand of Midas, so he really is trying to go for the late game. Maybe both of these heroes will be going for the late game. Maybe Aurum Stella. And actually, considering the team, both of these teams could potentially go to the late game. Both will rely very heavily on their main farmers, but with Sand King being a possible kind of other farmer compared to Clink's Assassin, Clink's Assassin, sorry about that, just Clink's, then it should technically be a good game that will really quickly be quite tense in the offlane, because I wouldn't be able to pull it apart between Chaos Knight and Lifestealer. Obviously Lifestealer has a slight advantage against Chaos Knight as a strength hero, but with those illusions, maybe you'll be able to give Lifestealer some problems.
A Dow getting dropped to 13
top tower is
HP
under
on this
attack.
lane. Just that all the nukes coming out again and looking mid. Harry really trying to chase down Raid Max. Is he going to be able to get him? It doesn't look like he is. He has Burrow Strike in 1 second. He might be going for the kill. Is he going to be able to get it? He will. Now is he going to be able to get away? No, almost certainly not. And a kill for a kill, but Sanking will be taking that at this stage. He's quite far. He's getting ahead of Magnus quite considerably.
Well, of course, he did give the gold to Magnus there, but he didn't give the experience, and that's exactly what Sand King wants. He needs that level advantage, and now that he has it, he has a full Burrow Strike. He has a couple points in Caustic Finale to really stop Magnus from doing any more, and that's the ultimate goal. Jambo, in the strange pick, have actually been extremely successful. Sand King has really taken the lead, and I'm glad I stuck my neck out, because Sand King is successfully winning the mid lane.
Dire's middle tower is
Yeah, he
under
really is.
attack.
You can expect him to start ganking now. He will start roaming to different lanes and really doing as much as he can. Will Harry, because he has hit level 8. So as soon as he's capable of it, he'll be probably going down bottom. He's actually coming down bottom now, so we could see something start here. I mean, everybody from Aurum Stella is only level 4 down in this lane, so Sank can get a good ulti off. He can almost certainly kill them all.
Yeah, and I have to imagine that he's going to be able to get that ulti off as soon as possible. He's going to be going around the hard lane to try and catch them out. Going around the jungle to try and catch them out. The Illuminate hits them all. Are they going to be able to back from that? Was that actually a mistake? It looks like they could possibly back from it, but are they just going to stay in this grouped up fashion? If so, Harry won't be able to do anything. That seems like a bit of a preemptive strike that wasn't necessary, but Sheep of Doom and Highlight are all coming around. Maybe they're actually going to dive. It looks like they are. Harry, did he just get spotted? It looked like he did, but Pixel
They know exactly where he is because of the ward. Harry's just going to dive under the tower anyway. He's going to pick up the Enigma. Is he going to start channeling his ultimate? It doesn't look like he is. He's going to probably just wait for the stuns to get wasted before he tries anything. He doesn't have his Sandstorm, so if he wants to use that, there's no way he's got it. Raid Max is really trying to take him out, but again, a nice Burrow Strike, and it looks like Harry's actually going to be able to get away. Is he going to charge his ultimate anytime soon? I don't think he is. He's going to get surged, and oh no, he's not going to get surged, sorry. So Highlight's going to surge himself. And now comes the ultimate from Sand King. Is it going to be able to kill Pixel? Yes, it is. It does pick up yet another kill for Harry.
Yeah, but it looks like... Oh no, Uprising didn't actually try and go for the kill there, and he really didn't need to. But look at Raid Max. Is he going to be able to... He's actually charging them into tower range. Highlight's definitely going to fall. Surely. Yes, but Harry again is going to get away. He's doing so well. This Sand King, bit of a strange pick, obviously. A bit more of a support, but Sand King can really kind of carry, especially with the farm that he's getting now. Potentially, he could be a force to be reckoned with through this game.
Well, he's certainly just going to be there for the team fights. His ultimate is just going to be popped as much as possible. He'll probably just be getting a scepter as soon as he can, a blink dagger into a scepter as soon as he can, and really just be used as the initiator. And it'll be interesting to see what actually what Aurum Stella decide to do against that, because if you have a look, it's really the Sand King that's actually done everything for them so far. He's got 4 kills, and they've died, and JAMBO have got 5 kills, so 4 of those have actually come from Sand King.
But I was just going to have to point to the top where Envy God has actually been fissured perfectly. He was open wounds, but he managed to actually get around it because the fissure wasn't quite perfect. He ran back in though, 89 health just to stun Coco, and Adele actually came in as well, but so low on health. Now it's kind of Adele just staying around. The Chaos Knight does actually get away ridiculously. Both of them survive because Fisher just wasn't quite long enough to properly block off Chaos Knight.
No, that worked in their favour. Nice play by the Chaos Knight actually to go back in there and throw the stun, because they probably could have got Adele if he hadn't, with the open wounds. Probably would have secured the kill. So nice play by Chaos Knight to save the Clinks, and Harry just continuing to farm in mid.
Well, we have to point out that he actually teamed up with the Keeper of the Light to get a very quick and easy kill on Magnus. As Magnus tried to get him, he just used his Burrow Strike, and then the Perfect Illuminate just went through, and Magnus really didn't have a chance. And Magnus is having a really horrible time in mid compared, trying to shut him down as much as he can, but only 26 last hits. He's doing just about as well as Darkseer on the offlane, so really not what they want to be, and it's absolutely miles away from his Blink Dagger. He's going to need 2,000 gold for that.
Yeah, that's going to take him a very long time. We can see that Harry's getting close to his Blink Dagger already, sitting on 1,500 gold and 1,600 now. So he's getting where he needs to go, and the Magnus just isn't going anywhere really. He's got his Arcane Boots, but that's about it. He does have his ulti up though if he wants to go and try and gank.
Well, it looks like he's just almost foolishly staying in this lane. He doesn't want Harry to farm anymore, and that Shockwave is at full level now, so it's doing a lot of damage. But Sand King has an urn, and he's actually consistently ganking, if anything, just to fill up this urn, and it's really working. He actually doesn't need that because he's going to fill up his bottle with a haste rune. So if he wants to go against Magnus again, he probably will be able to. He has his ultimate as well.
Well, if they go up against each other, you've got to say Magnus will almost certainly get away because he has Skewer up now, and the only time that Harry could actually catch him out was when that Skewer wasn't up, so he could just dive in and hold him there. But Magnus, it looks like he might be going top. They're not going to save this tower, almost certainly. I can't imagine they'll be using any sort of fortify on that. Man's hanging around in the trees, but he's not going to go for it. There's no one else to support him, and yeah, now we're seeing the problem with Magnus, that if all the lanes get beat, what can he really do? He can come in and try and get a really good ulti, but if he doesn't have the support when he uses his ulti, he can do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and Sand King has his Blink Dagger now.
Oh, but here we go.
He's actually going bottom.
Raid Max
Magnus
actually looks like he might be
it.
going for the ultimate. No, he used the charge and he got absolutely no one. Is he going to use reverse polarity? Yes, he is. It catches 2. In comes Enigma. Enigma has the ultimate. If he wants to use it, he does. Are they going to be able to kill Coco, though? They're almost certainly not. He's got to back off, surely. He doesn't back off. He tries to stay in there and fight. He's completely out of mana. Although he uses the Infest really well. Manages to get a double kill. Is he going to get the triple? He does. And now it's the Keeper of the Light coming in around the back, and they couldn't kill Coco in time. How tanky he was in that while that Enigma black hole was up.
And at the exact same time, JAMBO are actually attacking on 2 fronts. The Sand King killing the Chaos Knight at bottom with help from the Darkseer, so they're just doing such a good job. And now he has his Blink Dagger. Sand King is really something to be scared of. So JAMBO attacking from both fronts. Obviously, Aurum Stella are all going to be talking together, and it's going to be a load of mass confusion. And that seems to be what JAMBO are playing with, simultaneous attacks on top and bottom to just confuse Aurum Stella, if anything.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Well, it seems to be working out how they wanted. I mean, you can look at Coco. Coco's got 100 last hits now, and if we look at the net worth, he's sitting at 8k net worth, so he's pretty far ahead of everybody else. Although Harry now has his Blink Dagger, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. We can see Adele just roaming in, maybe just trying to do something. Although in goes Chaos Knight, they're going to pick up Sheep of Doom really easily. Darkseer puts his wall up. Is the wall going to be enough? Magnus coming in. It looks like Highlight's almost certainly going to die. He does die, and nice play by Aurum Stella. They needed that to get back into the game.
Yeah, it was really, really nice, and
Radiant's middle tower is
absolutely
under
nothing
attack.
for two. It looked like all of Aurum Stella were going to fall because they all got lowered to such low health.
But look around the
But
back.
fortunately, we do look around the back. Yes, Raid Max is going to fall now to Sand King again. Sand King getting so much farm. He's actually blinked in. He tried to use his own. He tried to actually use something there. It looked like he was going to go for it just on a, but without his epicenter, it seemed like a bit of a waste of time.
I think he really wanted to try and kill that Chaos Knight, because Chaos Knight was not on a lot of HP, and maybe he thought he could keep up with him until he could get off his epicenter. They're going to the toilet. Yeah, Burrow Strike wasn't quite off cooldown, so he couldn't get the kill. But nice play by the Enigma to use that Maleficent to get him away, to get him out of it. And yeah, Jambo are really taking a pretty heavy lead at the moment.
Yeah, they really, really are. And you have to say the Sand King was actually an amazing, absolutely amazing call. But obviously it's something they've been playing with against Magnus, so as we saw, they had a plan against him.
Yeah, and that'll be the reason they let Aurum Stella have him and pick up the Darkseer first instead.
Okay, we'll just wait for this pause now, but as we can see, none of Jambo doing badly at all. Keeper of the Light has a mechanism, so that just every single one of them is getting a significant amount of farm, and it really, really is a huge problem here for Aurum Stella. Clinks is actually disconnected, so he really is having some latency issues, but Chaos Knight is just working towards his armlet. He's got almost everything that he needs. He needs about 500 gold more, and then he gets his armlet. And once he does that, he'll be able to armlet toggle, and maybe, just maybe, that'll give him slightly an edge, maybe an armlet toggle away from killing that Lifestealer, just possibly doing it. But it seems unlikely. Lifestealer also has his armlet, and we know Lifestealer, once he has an armlet, becomes almost impenetrable with that big built-in BKB as well. He's got a Hand of Midas, so he's going in for the late game, and is definitely ahead of this Chaos Knight. So Chaos Knight is going to have to kill off Lifestealer if he wants to get back into the game.
Yeah, well, Lifestealer's on 1.8k of gold, so that's he's going. It looks like he's got a Mithril Hammer, so it looks like he's going to be going for a maybe a Mjolnir. We'll have to see what he decides to pick up. Well, obviously a Maelstrom to begin. It'll almost certainly be a Maelstrom. What he decides to do after then is entirely up to him. He will be infesting inside Jambo, inside Grobion though, so maybe they're going to be looking for something here with the Sand King.
Well, actually, he's being recalled by the Keeper of the Light, so they're clearly just planning to push, surely. Yeah, they are. They're just going to push us the bottom tower down, and they're really not going to have a nasty time with it. Magnus actually managed it to kill down Sand King. So that was really well, nicely done by him. Sand King just trying to hold them up top and keep them distracted while Jambo take this bottom tower.
Well, Sand King kind of dived in. That was a little bit much for him. He dived right into them to try and kill the Enigma, and he couldn't do it. And they just turned around and absolutely slaughtered him because there was 5 of them. So, but yeah, they've got a tower for it, which is probably worth it. I mean, look at the amount of farm that Coco's been able to get. He's seeing a 9.8k net worth, and they're also going for the next tower, and it looks like they might be getting that as well.
Yeah, they definitely will. I don't think Aurum Stella can do that much against him. Porting in, probably a mistake. It's actually Raid Max. Maybe he can do this. He's got this reverse polarity up. He misses horribly there, and he really does deserve to die after a thing like that. Jambo uses his rage to go through the Darkseer as well. Not that would affect him because it's his bloody team, my mistake. But now Chaos Knight just feeding when he's going in. Lifestealer, he's got his rage. He had his rage spare the entire time again. He had his armlet, and it's just doing so much damage that Chaos Knight cannot handle it. And now that's a 4-for-0 wipe. So considering they're trying to defend it, horrible for Aurum Stella.
The Chaos Knight went in because the Enigma was right in the middle of them. They're going for Roshan now, but the Enigma was right in the middle of the Jambo team, and he went to pop his ultimate. And as the animation was about to start, Grobion actually used his ultimate to cancel it because he has that stun off the aftershock. So it was nice reactions from Grobion to be able to stop the Enigma channeling his ulti, and that's how the Chaos Knight and Enigma both got caught out so horribly.
Yeah. Sorry, we're chilling as the server is so lag for us. Okay, apparently they are all having a little bit of problems, but
It's very odd that it would choose a server that would lag so much, though. I mean, I've never seen that. I've only seen that like one time before that it's lagged quite that much.
Yeah, these guys are just actually really cleverly using Roshan's built-in Lincolns to make sure they land it, and then actually use spells and open wounds to make sure they can all get a little bit of health from it. But just does not look good now. Earthshaker has a Blink Dagger as well. Lifesteal has a Desolator.
Yeah, I was about to say. Coco buying the Desolator instead of the Mjolnir, so that's the way he was going, and Earthshaker's just having that that Blink Dagger sent to him now.
Meanwhile, JD, what do you think Aurum Stella can do?
Oh,
actually, the GDs.
Apparently they can't do anything. Apparently they're just going to call GGs. They don't feel like they can fight this at all, and nothing to do with this lag. I don't know what that entirely means, but okay. But they are apparently just calling GG already. They know that they can't really do anything, and Harry has really had the game of his life.
Yeah, they're either saying that it's all down to the leg or nothing down to it, but it's hard lane was a hard lane. Well, good spot there from Jambo. But unfortunately, Aurum Stella will just be disconnecting, and Jambo taking a very, very quick 20-minute win. Obviously, Dow having those connection issues really probably did cause a huge problem, as the tri-lane just was so successful. But what was really, really won it for them so quickly was Harry in this lane. We've seen Jambo now with some incredibly clever.
I think lags didn't lost the same. I don't know, but
yeah, they're all trying to basically say they don't think it's down to lag, but
yeah, we do apologise for the amount of lag and how short this game was, but you've got to be honest. Aurum Stella, they didn't play as well as they did in the first round. They're still in it, and they just moved down to the lower bracket, and Jambo continue in the winners bracket, as you would expect. They were very, very good for very good last year and last month, and they've continued that very well.
Well, one thing we have to point out is Jambo have proven they can be as intelligent pickers, not obedient to the meta, as we've had Imber Battle.net and Enemy Intelligence do. Because let's face it, who expected Zanking to be such a great counter for Magnus? I thought he might do okay, but I didn't think he would excel quite so well.
No, he played really well actually. He was just kind of waiting for when the skewer, and they were not giving up yet, but he was just waiting for when the skewer wasn't on cooldown, and then he'd dive in with his ultimate and get an almost secure kill. So nice play by him, yeah.
Man Army, a little bit of nice banter there. It's good to see a bit of supportingness from that, but Coco just kind of wasting his ages because he can. Why not?
Oh,
and wow, best base dive I think I've ever seen. But
there goes my army.
Coco survived that.
Enigma not happy with that. He's lost his entire army and he can't fight them anymore. But yeah, really nice play by Jambo once again. We've seen